was shot to death a day before the Quadruple homicide happened.
On the wall, some nigga put shots in the face, and bitch won't play about my daddy. Red tape on the seal, we hit on one shot, that boy tell him run to his mammy.
They said it's 2 boys inside the restaurant. So if they got 2 bodies inside and 2 outside, oh, they just killed a whole bunch of kids up today.
Shuddy's real bounty. Hey, fucking deserve it. Mayweather. Mayweather. Your shit got long, Shuddy. Woo!
How do you describe just what?
Huh?
How do you just describe all this? How do you describe all this?
It's saddening to me because they got my babies out here in the rain and the water just laying on the sidewalk. I mean, cover them up or something, just open. They just laying there on the street. They've been out here for almost 4 hours. 4 hours. How do you lay a kid on the ground? Your face. Show your face, please. With sugar on top.
Now, many of you have heard of Drench this, Drench that, when it comes to No Limit, aka NLMB, aka Never Leave My Brothers. For y'all that don't know, NLMB is a set within Chicago, which Chicago rapper G-Herbo is infamously affiliated with, as you've heard him shout them out in songs for years. Despite it seeming like some people like him in the group and some people don't, he still reps it, and there's guys such as Big Op, who also a part of the set that lets it be known that when it comes to G-Herbo, he's riding with him by all means. But then you got OG members within the set, such as No Limit Cairo, who isn't too fond of G-Herbo and blasts him from time to time about how he handles the guys within the set by making false promises. Now, to sum it all up, it seemed like his biggest pet peeve is the fact that G-Herbo likes to claim the gang but don't want to do anything to help the gang members. He'll put them in his raps and talk about what's going on, but he isn't doing anything to get these guys out of their situations to better themselves. And I guess it done got to the point where G-Herbo is starting to feel a little weird around the people that surround him, even when it comes to his own gang, because even he will take to his IG story and hint towards maybe a possible backdoor from the guys that surround him. He would say, quote, "I hear this voice in the back of my mind, like Swerve, tighten up your circle before they hurt you." And honestly, nobody's gonna make a post like that or have them type of thoughts for no reason. However, you have another man by the name of Lil Wet, aka Wet 'em Up, who is affiliated with No Limit, but he reps his own set known as Drench Gang. Lil Wet is cool with both Cairo and G-Herbo, and this is one of the reasons why I feel things don't ever get too out of hand when it comes to G-Herbo, because it's mutual guys involved that have a lot of love for both sides. Now, Lil Wet is a very reputable stand-up member, and this is why I wanted to get into his story, because even though he's young, he definitely been through it. And his story happens to be one of the craziest, as one of the main stories that come with him is one of the biggest get-back situations in drill history. Now, aside from whatever else he'd been through in the streets, it's this one situation he was accused of, but was never convicted despite being charged, but beating it due to a lack of evidence. The situation I'm referring to is the one where his father, Big Wet, was unalived one day, and they say within a few hours later, 4 people were unalived in a retaliation-styled hit. CPD would pick up Lil Wet with suspicion that he committed the quadruple homicide as get back for his father's death. The problem is, they had no way of proving he was the shooter. Now, did he do it? Who knows? The homicides remain unsolved to this day, but many believe it's clear as day. So we're going to get into the video, but shout out to Inside a Hot Spot for their content. I'll leave a link to the original video in the comments so y'all can check out more on their platform. But in the meantime, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, hype and like the video so we can get it into the algorithm. And if you not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it.
Yeah, man, this Wet 'em Up, man. You already know how we coming, man.
Prosecutors say Harris is a documented gang member with an extensive juvenile record. Harris has had 29 arrests. His crimes range from armed to unlawful firearm possession.
Police have been focusing their attention around a neighborhood fast food restaurant called Nadia's. CPD says a man walked up to the restaurant and started
is looking at 4 counts of first-degree. The 19-year-old is accused of being the trigger man in 4 homicides.
I saw a man sitting up, shot on the tree.
Police say the quadruple murders outside this South Shore restaurant were a planned execution in retaliation for the of Maurice Harris's father, Jerry Jacobs, who, like his son, was a documented gang member.
Hey, yo, squad, what's the drill? Back with another video, man. When it comes to gremlins, you know there's some that talk about it, and then there's others like NLMB Lil Wet that be about it. His name has been stamped in the history books of Chicago after he allegedly got get back within less than 24 hours of them crossing out his OG. From multiple arrests to beating 4 bodies to now back under the thumb of the feds. Is this the end of one of NLMB's biggest steppers? We're gonna find out.
Now the craziest part, right? He got arrested once again for gun possession after this situation. But they say he will be released in June. No, sorry, he will be released in September of this year. So listen, this man done been through a lot. You see, it says he was already arrested 29 times. His first arrest came at 12 years old. 12 years old, y'all. And yet he beat, well, it's not that he beat it, but my thing is, if you don't get football numbers for a charge, you basically beat it. And this man beat 4 bodies, went to jail for a switch charge, and now he'll be out in just a couple of months.
So without further ado, let's skip the play and get down to business. NLMB, known as the No Limit Muskegon Boys, now represent their code Never Leave My Brothers. They have been one of the most popular sets in Chicago alongside others like FBG and OTF. Their notoriety on this big a scale can be credited to 2 of their rappers that made it big, G-Herbo and Lil Bibby, and one nailed it in the rap game, and the other co-founding Grade A Productions, a record label with his brother G Money, which signed the legendary late Juice WRLD. While NLMB is popping on the music front, they got a ruthless reputation as well in the streets. And one member that's become something of a legend goes by the name of NLMB Wet 'em Up, aka Lil Wet. He got the name from his pops, who was Big Wet in the streets.
I ain't gonna lie, that name is crazy. Let me tell you, with a name like that, now I see why he moved the way he moved. Because with a name like that, you gotta move dangerous. It's no way you in the streets and you got any type of smart on your rap with a name like that. You gotta prove your point every time.
So Lil Wet took on the torch and ran with it, doing the best he could to hold it down for his set.
First thing I'm gonna ask you is like, where you get your name from?
Shit, I got my name shit from a legend shit, my daddy shit. Came up under him.
Oh, they call him Wet too?
Yep, same, yep.
For sure.
The environment influenced who he became, and growing up in the trenches, Lil Wet followed the path of so many youngins getting caught in the cycle. But he wasn't prepared for all the pain and bloodshed that would come.
So you know, when you got into the streets, do you feel like you was prepared for it?
Hell nah, I wouldn't. Ain't nobody gonna be prepared for the streets, because the streets ain't fair.
You feel like if you grew up in a different neighborhood, you probably would never even live that type of life?
Yep, it's gonna always be the environment, whatever environment you in.
You know what's crazy? That's what people don't understand. I know we blame a lot for the Chicago guys, but at the end of the day, most of them are a product of the environment. Some of them are forced into what they was into. Some of them are literally into beefs and don't even know why. That's the crazy part. A lot of them are in beefs that they don't even know why they're in. Whether it's them just growing up on a certain block, whether they are affiliated with certain people. You got guys that lose their life all because they in music videos with other guys. That got nothing to do with nothing. But it forces you to either be a predator or you're going to be prey. And at the end of the day, you can't come back once it's over.
Seen his homies knocked off right in front of him and has been shot on multiple occasions. Once in the hip, and another time he is seen with a hole in his hand on live as he applied bandages over the wound.
I talk to God. Oh shit!
Bitch, you asking. God don't even be calling on y'all, be calling for his ass on him.
Yeah.
Believe you had got shot with one of your friends that passed away or something like that?
Oh yeah, I got shit, yeah. Yeah, my homie Lil Rock.
So what exactly did you get hit at?
I got hit on my hip.
Was that your first time getting shot?
No.
Lil Wet will rack up a rap sheet that would paint him as a youngin' that was really about it and had no care for the law. According to reports, cops arrested Bro Young From then, he was arrested 29 times for everything ranging from armed burglary to firearm possession. Lil Wet was really out here standing on business for NLMB, allegedly.
Prosecutors say Harris is a documented gang member with an extensive juvenile record.
As we've seen too many times before here in Chicago, he's no stranger to CPD.
Harris has had 29 arrests. His crimes range from armed to unlawful firearm possession.
Crazy thing is, it's reported that his pops, who cops also labeled as a gang member, was arrested dang near 47 times. So it seemed like Lil Wet was really carrying on that family legacy in the streets, for real.
I know they say you gotta follow your father's footsteps, and that, but got 47 times? He's at 29. And he's only 27. Yo, you know what's crazy? He's been locked up as many years as he's been alive. Damn near, right? Sheesh.
Police say Maurice Harris's father, Jerry Jacobs, was a documented gang member who was arrested 47 times in the past.
Sadly, his pops would lose his life to the streets that made him. Reports state that on March 29th, 2017, 37-year-old Jerry Jacobs, aka Big Wet, was walking on the sidewalk at 11:13 p.m. in the 7900 block of South Phillips when four males got out of a dark-colored vehicle and shot at him. Jacob suffered a gunshot wound to the right side of his body and took himself to South Shore Hospital. With his life draining minute by minute, he was later transferred to Stronger Hospital. Unfortunately, no matter how much they tried to save his life, his wound was too great, and he was pronounced deceased at 3:40 a.m. Lil Wet would get word of the news, and in that moment, he had two choices: mourn his pops and move on to a different path, leaving the streets behind, or spin the block and have give back for the man that his life was patterned after. Well, what happened less than 24 hours later is alleged to have been his decision. Family members were left in tears as the chaotic scene played out. According to reports, a shooter entered Nadia Fish and Chicken at 75th and Coles around 4 p.m. and opened fire before escaping on foot. Police found two men, 28-year-old Emmanuel Stokes and 32-year-old Edwin Davis, hit inside from gunshot wounds, and two brothers, 20-year-old Dylan Jackson and 19-year-old Raheem Jackson, hit outside, also from gunshot wounds from the attack.
Police have been...
Let me tell y'all something, right? Now, keep in mind, he's been charged, tried, and basically released because they have no evidence. But at the end of the day, it's one thing to get away with one body. It's crazy if you get away with two. And keep in mind, it's all this is still alleged because he haven't been convicted for it. But 4 bodies and beat it, where all the odds are basically against you, because it's clear as day where your father just lost his life, and hours later, 4 people who I guess they felt like suspects in his death, they were unalived. Hours later, in the beat for them.
Focusing their attention around a neighborhood fast food restaurant called Nadia's. CPD says a man walked up to the restaurant and started shooting. 2 people were shot inside the restaurant and 1 was found outside. Again, police originally were investigating this as 3 people shot, but then police roped off a new scene where another body was found in a nearby backyard.
Their grandmother would speak to reporters breaking down what happened.
The church is chicken up there, not here 2 at one time. 2 at one time. They tried Jackson's grandkids. God, they got 2 bodies inside the restaurant of somebody else's kids, I imagine. They said it's 2 boys inside the restaurant. So if they got 2 bodies inside and 2 outside, oh, they just a whole bunch of kids up today. A whole bunch of them. 4 of them now.
Dylan and Raheem lived around the corner?
Yes.
But you don't know who these 2 victims inside the restaurant?
No. I just know my baby, 1 there and 1 down the street.
So it's 2 separate encounters?
No, that's the way they run.
Don't y'all hate them stupid? Like, how you sitting there asking these questions to somebody who just lost not 1, but 2 grandchildren, right? But you don't know which, you don't know what happened, right? Like, how were they? Why are you asking those type of questions right after they lose somebody? Literally just minutes or an hour after. Crazy.
According to reports, Dylan and Raheem were visiting their mother who worked at the restaurant when the gunfire broke out. Both tried to flee, but were also fatally shot in nearby parking lots. It didn't take long for the trail to lead police right to Lil Wet, who was pointed out by several eyewitnesses at the scene, saying he was the shooter.
3 witnesses to this quadruple murder identified Maurice Harris as the
Now arrested, Maurice Harris, aka Lil Wet, was in for hell. News of the hits was sweeping news stations, and his image was painted as some gangster with no sense involved in gangs. Worse yet, they plastered his criminal history and the criminal history of his pops, who was also murked less than 24 hours before, making the alleged connection that he retaliated for the hit on his pops. It wasn't looking good for bro at all.
Marion and police say the 2 cases are related and both are tied to gang conflicts. Tonight, one man is in custody, 19-year-old Maurice Harris, and investigators say he is not cooperating with them.
Y'all see when they say anything you say or do can be used against you in the court of law? And you see what happens when you just shut your mouth and let your lawyer talk? This man was 19, facing 4 bodies, and was pointed out by 3 different witnesses and didn't say nothing, and ended up beating everyone with the odds stacked against him. Crazy.
Police say the quadruple outside this South Shore restaurant were a planned execution in retaliation of Maurice Harris's father, Jerry Jacobs, who, like his son, was a documented gang member.
They have said that they believe Harris is responsible for our gang-related.
19-year-old Harris is now charged with 4 counts of first-degree.
3 witnesses to this quadruple murder identified Maurice Harris as the
Prosecutors say Harris is a documented gang member with an extensive juvenile record.
As we've seen too many times before here in Chicago, he's no stranger to CPD.
Lil Wet was in the slammer without bail in the court, and to him, it was like everything just went black.
No Limit Lil Wet charged with like quadruple and all type of. How was that, knowing like that even though you just lost your father, like you fight for your life at the same time? Like how do you have time to like mourn?
It's like all that after it's like everything just went dark. Like it's hard to explain. Like everything just went dark.
Yo, could you think at 19 years old, you basically think the rest of your life is over because you just been caught or charged with 4 bodies? I can't emphasize that anymore. 4 bodies at 19 with 3 witnesses. Who is lawyer? Who is lawyer? But this also just goes to show, right? As we always say, in a court of law, it's not what you know, it's about what you could prove. With 3 witnesses and his father going within hours, and not to mention they put his criminal record up there. They tried to paint him as a bad guy, 29 arrests. His father, he's gang related, this, that, and yet they still couldn't get a conviction. Now, whether he did it or not, who knows? But come on now.
Your pops, then days later, now you behind bars. That had to be a weight on bro mind, realizing that he was facing life and then his father lost his life. Whether he saw the light of day or passed away in a cell depended on this case right here.
When you heard the charges, like what type of time was you facing?
I was facing like AM, life. Nothing else. AM.
Even with that, bro was still thugging behind bars and giving hell. Lil Wet would hold strong, fighting the case for approximately 3 years before a miracle happened. Lil Wet was woken up from his cell and rushed into an emergency online court meeting where he was told the good news. The case was dismissed and all charges were dropped.
In front of my door. They like, man, you got emergency court. So I'm like, okay, emergency court. Yes, you got emergency court. I'm like, what the f? Man, can I get in the shower? They, nah, you can get in the shower. I'm like, damn, can I brush my teeth? They like, yeah, go brush your teeth. Woo. So they pull me out the cell. They take me downstairs. I see all the directors, everybody, and they take me straight to court. They take me straight to court.
I don't think people know the full extent of what bro was facing and how big a miracle that was. According to reports, it wasn't just 4 hit charges Lil Wet was facing, but more than 24 counts: attempted hit, and aggravated discharge of a firearm. Apparently, the case was dropped due to unreliable witness accounts.
Murder charges against the man accused of shooting 4 people inside a Chicago restaurant back in 2017 are now dropped. According to prosecutors, the request to drop the case happened because of unreliable witness accounts. 22-year-old Maurice Harris was facing more than 24 counts. One of his attorneys tells the Chicago Sun-Times he expects Harris to be released from jail, quote, relatively soon. Katie Johnston for CBS 2 Chicago.
Now, whoever that lawyer is, shout out to him. Now, if y'all don't know, for y'all that, never been through the process, usually when they do an emergency court like that, it's usually bad news, right? So that's probably what he was thinking. He probably thought he was going to get bad news, especially after 3 years of sitting up. But come to find out, out of nowhere, they just said, all right, well, listen, dismiss. And released after 3 years, 4 bodies? That's crazy. But I wonder what made the witnesses unreliable, right? And why didn't they have anything else? Because clearly it seems like that's all they had. As I always tell y'all, the feds, nobody can just go to trial with no other evidence. If they don't have, whether it's DNA, surveillance footage with his face clearly out, or fingerprints, anything, they're not just going to go to trial with just that. So I guess once they seen that, like they said, the witnesses were unreliable, they just gave it up. But 4 bodies? 24 charges?
His moms also gave an alibi for Lil Wet. She had the phone records to prove she was talking to her son at the time of the shooting. She said that her son could not have been near the restaurant because he was at the coroner's office identifying his father, Jerry Jacobs.
Maurice Harris's mother denies her son could have been involved. She says she was on the phone with him at the time of the
Bro got the second chance of a lifetime, and it was now up to him to put it to good use. It was all smiles and laughter being released from jail in 2020. And for a while, it looked like Lil Wet was doing just that. From behind bars, people were telling him he had to come out and get his rap on and stay out of all the BS. So when he got out, he picked up the mic and started doing his thing.
So like, when you was locked up, was it people telling you like when you get out rap this and that?
Oh yeah, when I was here, hell yeah, some people they seem like, boy, if you don't get out rapping, boy, you stupid. Boy, stop telling me that dumb. Think I don't know that.
He got the plug of a lifetime. Him and G-Herbo, right there. He got the plug of a lifetime. Now, not to mention, y'all gotta remember, if you just beat 4 bodies, because I see a lot of people say his music is trash, he's this, cool. But if I could at least make, let's say, a livable wage off of music where I don't gotta be out committing crimes, I don't care. This could possibly change my life. I just beat 4 bodies. You think I care if I'm trash or not? Hell no. I could be the worst rapper ever. You done had Mike Jones. You done had a bunch of trash rappers before him, and they make livable wages where they don't got to work for the rest of their life. So that's what he's trying to do. At least change his and his family life, and that's it. This man beat 4 bodies, y'all.
Making moves with his homie G-Herbo and pushing music of his own, leveling up in the rap game and building connections with stars like Chief Keef, 21 Savage, Wallow, and Gilly.
For real, let me tell you something, nigga. Survivor's remorse right here with No Limit, wet 'em up. You hear me? Yeah, the name speaks for itself. Drench. Quadruple kid, man.
The boy was doing it.
Oh, man. You see what I'm saying? The Quadruple kid. See, thank God, I guess they can't reopen that case. But it's little things like that I be talking about when I be saying that these rappers just be doing the most. He beat quadruple homicides. We don't need to call him Quadruple kid. Don't worry. People that know what's up. He ain't the Quadruple kid. He ain't none of that. He wet him up.
He started going under the name Drench while continuing to drop music, and it seemed like Lil Wet was on the right path. That was until he wasn't. The feds weren't having it and pulled up on bro, putting him right back in the slammer. According to reports that surfaced through court documents on January 19th, 2024, during a federal search warrant on the residence located at 720 West 47th Street, apartment 4D in Chicago, law enforcement observed Maurice Harris, aka NLMB Lil Wet, temporarily leaned out of a window of 47th Avenue Street with a firearm in his hand and then threw the same firearm onto the roof of the 47th Street apartment. The gun recovered from the roof was a Glock pistol with a fully automatic switch loaded with 17 rounds. According to a 10-page criminal complaint, which included a photo of the alleged weapon sitting on top of a pile of snow, the switchy isn't something that the feds play with, and it's almost guaranteed prison time if caught. They allegedly saw bro toss on the roof and also recovered the strap, so it's gonna be a tough one for Lil Wet to beat. Reports state that the reason for the raid is uncertain as the warrant remains sealed, but the raid...
You know why? Let me tell y'all. It's the simple fact that he beat 4 bodies. As I told y'all before, it's not what you know, it's what you could prove. They know he well, allegedly, right? Allegedly he did it. They just couldn't prove it. But one thing about the feds, one thing about police, period, when they feel that you beat them, they're going to be on you forever until they get something. They want something. But they didn't get much because, yeah, they did a raid. Yeah, they found the switch. I'm confused because I know that's like top illegal. However, it seemed like he only got a year and a half because they're saying that he's going to be out in September of this year. So it sounds crazy. It sounds like, oh, he got a switch charge. Oh, how many times we seen these guys get charged with switches and we think the worst? Come to find out, they only do every bit of 2 to 3 years, if that. So they may make it seem like switch charges is the most craziest, outrageous charges. But from what we've seen with these guys in the past, they get these charges with the switches and they're out within a year or so, 2 or 3. So it can't be that bad.
Raid was conducted as Lil Wet returned from doing a show in Detroit and was staying with a girlfriend. So it seems like they were all on his trail and just waiting for the right moment to strike. With the charge of possessing a machine gun carrying a sentence up to 10 years in prison, you know the feds are going to try to get the max since they probably fell away about the 4 bodies from before. The prosecution was throwing everything to try to get Lil Wet kept behind bars, requesting him being held without bond and playing the judge rap videos of Lil Wet. They argued that by flaunting his familiarity with guns and bragging about shooting people with automatic weapons, he showed his dangerousness, and it was a reality, not merely a part of his art. 2 music videos in question that were showed were Death and Murder Man, but just by the name alone, it already starts to create an image for the judge.
See what I'm saying? Yet, once again, somebody caught because of music videos, social media, and etc. How many times Sleazy World Gold just got indicted, or no, just got convicted by the feds for showing guns in his music videos. And now look, they're going based on music videos. So no matter how much these guys try to make it seem like they don't care about what's on social media, the feds can't do this, they can't do that. Well, clearly they can.
That with new names like Drench and his only acts against bro. NLMB Lil Wet beat all the odds, defied fate, and beat 4 bodies, only to now play right back into the hands of the law. This time possibly not getting out of the jam that he's in without penalties. Not even getting caught with just any strap, but a switch. You gotta think smarter, especially after getting a second chance. Things been looking like an L for Lil Wet since his arrest, but a piece of document recently surfaced online allegedly showing that they may have proof that he was released and he's back outside. But that still hasn't been confirmed because there's jail call recordings of Lil Wet talking to his homie about the rough conditions he's facing behind bars, saying they hating on him and he ain't eating 6 days. Things are still shaking on the situation Lil Wet is now wrapped up in. And if he could even get out of that jam that quickly, it's up to time to really see what's going on with this case, whether it be that he's set free or he's still pressured by the feds. Until then, all he can do is stay smart, stay alert, and stay real.
All right, y'all. So that's pretty much it, man. One thing I could say, even though he's young, he moved like an older dude. I know he's, 27 now? But I'm talking about before. He definitely moved like an older dude. And the whole situation with the 4 bodies has to be one of the craziest situations I've encountered when it came to the drill culture. 4 bodies in one day, hours after your father lost his life, and you managed to get unreliable witnesses, and then they let you go. I don't know how they let that happen. I don't know how he pulled through that one. He must got a guardian angel on his shoulder with him at all times. But as he come out with this situation, I'm pretty sure he's tired of jail. I'm pretty sure that he probably matured or something within this bid that he just currently got. But they're saying that he's looking at a release date of September. So like I said before, it's not the craziest. It probably was just a sit down so he could realize how blessed he is. To beat 4 bodies, catch another charge, and still be able to come home, you gotta be on his P's and Q's. You know they're gonna be on him because they feel he should be locked away for life. So we gotta be, you know, a step ahead of them. It's gonna be hard because we do know that these guys like to ride around with firearms because they do have ops. And you can't rely on police to protect you. We've seen in the past that hasn't worked. And when something happened to you, they just on to the next. Alright, so y'all jump in the comments, let me know what y'all think about this. How do y'all feel about this whole situation with him beating the 4 bodies? Do you think he did it? Do you think it was get back or justice was served? Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'ma keep on dropping. I'm out. Are you tired of a bunch of social media gurus promising you results with their course, but all they do is take a bunch of information off YouTube and Google, then sell it to you? Well, look no further. Our YouTube Tips and Tricks Masterclass course comes equipped with SEO tips and tricks, along with methods we use to growth hack our YouTube channel. It also includes step-by-step ways to publish your video before uploading to guarantee a great SEO score, therefore your videos can rank and be shown to a bigger audience. Views and subscribers don't come by luck, and just how YouTube have an algorithm, you should have one as well that can guarantee you results. We doing websites and softwares we personally use to generate money creating Faces YouTube channels. If you also would like to skip the process and just buy other pre-built accounts, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook, we also threw that in there for you too. We went through trial and error, so you don't have to. Click the link in the description or the comments and get started today.